I look at implicit conversions as like a hidden tax, or it's one of those things that's like the one of the top three performance anti-patterns that we come across in SQL Server. It's one of those things that you may not realize what's going on, but it might be chewing up a whole lot of CPU. So by the end of this episode, we hope that you'll walk away with how to spot implicit conversions in seconds, how to fix many of them permanently, and you're also going to get a handful of real scripts that you can run today. First off, all the demo scripts, as well as some other scripts to go and find implicit conversions happening on your own system. Those will be available for download on the podcast page at stedmansolutions.com. So if you're viewing this on YouTube or Spotify, you'll need to jump over to stedmansolutions.com to download those. All right, George, on to the episode.
All right. So what is an implicit conversion?
That's a great question. Since we named the podcast that, it'd be great to explain what it is to begin with, wouldn't it? So it's one of those things that where data types don't match in SQL Server, and you're trying to do something that forces like an entire column to be converted from one data type to another in order to compare it. So I don't know, maybe an analogy to this would be like mixing oil and water. They just don't work well together. In SQL Server, there are data type precedence rules, which there's a chart that we have here. Well, let's just add it. It's Microsoft's list. So with data types in SQL Server, there's an order of precedence from the highest to the lowest. And this chart lists the highest would be user-defined data, JSON, SQL variant, XML, things like that, all the way down to the very lowest in the precedence being char and var binary and things like that. So what this means is that when you're comparing two data types that are not the same or are not comparable, that one of them has to be converted to the other. And generally, it's going to be converted to the one with the higher precedence in the list. An example on that would be if you had two variables that you were comparing, and one of them was of type varchar and the other one was of type nvarchar. Well, if we look over on the right side, we can see that nvarchar is a higher precedence than varchar. So if you don't specifically state how they should be converted, SQL Server is going to do the conversion to convert your varchars to nvarchars in order to be able to do that comparison. So I'm sure we've all seen in your SQL code where you've done a cast of a data type or a convert to change it from one type to another. But when you don't do that and you have mismatched data types, SQL Server has to figure out how to do that conversion. And that's what comes across as the implicit conversion. So do we have, George, do you know some that are the most common offenders that come into this category?
I mean, you kind of pointed out one there. We have nvarchar and varchar. But from personal experience, I've seen people try to compare ints and varchars as well as floats and ints, or pretty much any number type to any number type that isn't the same.
Yep. And the other one that comes across too is date time types converting to varchars, where it's a date or a time and trying to convert that somehow. All right, so just keep this chart in mind, knowing that some of these will compare nicely, like date time and date time 2 work pretty well together. But if you're trying to do like a date time to an nvarchar or even a varchar, they're in very different positions on the chart, and they're not going to work very smoothly. I think that's kind of the overview on what it is. It's basically forcing some column to have to be converted when you're doing comparisons.
Thanks for watching. I'm Steve, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like it, please click the thumbs up icon. And if you want to subscribe, click subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to get notified when we have new videos. All right, have a great day.